what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another edition of Naruto Retsuden, this Spiral Destiny. And I have to say, first and foremost, if you stumbled across this video by accident, you want to stop what you're doing, go over to the home page, and you'll want to scroll down to the Naruto novel section, and you'll want to look for the Naruto novels that are set in the Boruto era, because you'll want to check out Kakashi Retsuden and Sasuke Retsuden before you watch any of these videos, because at this point, I'm assuming that you've been caught up with both of those stories. I'm not going to waste my time with any type of recap or explaining where in the timeline this takes place. You want your answers? That's where you got to go. So getting right into it, I got to say, first and foremost, I love the fact that right now you see Kakashi, you see Sasuke, and you see Sakura showing up clutch as a way to protect Naruto. And what I really love about this scene right here is that you're really seeing the bond that Team 7 has, and you're seeing how they don't need to communicate with each other about what they're going to do. The whole time that all this is going on, Naruto is acutely aware of his surroundings. He knows that Kakashi's handling one of these assassins, Sasuke's handling one of them, Sakura's handling one. And what I really love about it is that in their own individual ways, the members of Team 7, they're just completely trolling the assassins that are trying to kill Naruto in this scene. And what's so interesting about all this is the fact that they're acutely aware of the fact that these assassins have these guns that can shoot off photon beams, and they're not even worried about it. And what's so crazy about all of this is the fact that you're seeing in real time what happens when you rely too heavily on science and you go against these super powerful shinobi. And what you see in this moment right here is that the ninja that's trying to assassinate Naruto, the moment that he recognizes that all of these people are here, that you got Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and you also got other Konoha shinobi waiting in the wings as well, he immediately craps himself. Because it's one thing to tell somebody, hey, you need to go after Naruto. Something ain't right with them. This might be our only opportunity to kill the 7th Hokage. Take advantage of it. It's one thing to say take him out when his guard's lowered, and to take him out when he potentially has something wrong with him. Nobody's been able to verify the chakra illness outside of Naruto's inner circle. There's been a small leak. That information's gotten out, but nobody's been able to verify it. That's why Naruto was stopped from making his Rasengan. And what I like about this right here is that the guy basically says, I ain't getting paid enough for this right here. And I get it. I get it. Again, you got Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura. You got Udon and Moegi. So you got 3 legendary shinobi on one side, and then you got 2 Jonin who are also there protecting Naruto. And if you make it through all of them, you got to tell yourself that you not only have Shikamaru there as the last line of defense for a potentially weakened Naruto, but you also have Naruto himself, who, even if he is weakened, like your intel seems to suggest, Naruto's still incredibly powerful. But again, like I've said before, a ninja must learn to see past deception, and there's something here that this ninja's not quite got a hold to yet. That's too much. I know they say they're gonna take care of this dude for 3 generations, but it's like, yeah, no amount of money's enough to go through that much of a headache. So now that you've got more of the background information, we're just gonna get right into the scene. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this one right here is an absolute doozy. With that being said, it's here that I quote, licking his lips dry, A clutched the photon gun even tighter. Whoosh. The wind of the shot grazed his cheek. The moment he looked off to the side, as it shook the air, the shot pierced the body of a tree. A was stunned, shrinking himself back into the branches of the tree. The Hokage should have been safe from any distance, but for some reason he was under attack. When and why did they find out about this place? Who shot the beam? Where was he? His thoughts were still confused. He rammed his hand into a pocket, ready to fight back. The leaves overhead sway as they fell down. The gloved palm of A held his grip on the photon gun. A man looked up, sleepy eyes, with a gaze like a goat, the face of a man who hid his face with a cloth mask. He didn't recognize him. This man, Kakashi Hatake. A kunai sank into A's throat before he could finish saying the name. The tip of the blade cut through the flesh and the bone. Blood spattered out onto the fresh leaves around him. A puff of smoke. A disappeared without a trace. As A disappeared, the memory of what happened right before he died flowed into Yunaru's body and the other bodies of the others, B and C. The last view of A was the worst imaginable. Kakashi Hokage, a man with listless eyes. At first glance, he seemed ambitionless and naive. Shinobi are still deceived by this appearance even while part of the 5 great nations. His face, the former Hokage, is well known too. Being the man who first sent a research team for natural gas, he was no less popular than the 7th Hokage in the Land of Stairs. However, despite this, none of the people in the crowd noticed him, a sign that Kakashi is completely out of sight. After retiring from the 6th Hokage title, he spent his days reading the news from a paper and enjoys visiting hot springs as his hobby. However true, he's still on the scene, participating in security for the 7th Hokage. B slowly kicked out the dirt from beneath his sandals. Kakashi Hokage removed his first blade, deliberately letting the clone see himself. Intimidation was the purpose. Since the opponent had no chance of winning against Kakashi Hokage, the third-rate assassin reluctantly withdrew. Celebrities had to be aware of such disgusting guys. That's the reason why he let his head fall, to show the difference in strength, that there was no room for resistance. B pulled a sweaty hand out from his sleeve. Easy does it. Stop shaking. Stop looking upset. He got rid of his disturbing behavior as not to be found out. He sucked in a deep breath of air. Moments later, as he went to exhale, something covered his mouth. It continued on. He put his hands up to his neck as he was being strangled. Tiny gas leaking out. B instantly clutched the wrist of an unknown person who covered his mouth. Then, it was thin. A woman's wrist. B tried to kick back his left foot to somehow escape, but he missed. His toes kicked up and ended up in the air, causing him to lose his balance. His hunched body held in a firm one-legged hold by a woman, finally stopping B from stirring about. When the brain becomes deficient in oxygen, it ceases to function. Within the lightheadedness and the daze of phasing consciousness, he could faintly feel something touching his back. She was a woman after all, the female ninja with Kakashi who was guarding the 7th Hokage. She had excellent skill at getting rid of someone without anyone in the crowd noticing, with little room for them to resist her powerful strength. Sakura Haruno. He was convinced that she was the one who had gotten him, but B couldn't confirm if he was correct or not. Even without a glance at her face, she tightened her strangle around his neck. B suddenly vanished in the smoke. What's going on? Security wasn't insufficient. C was getting impatient. For Kakashi Hokage, he didn't know a person who didn't know Sakura Haruno's reputation as being a go-getter with brilliant technique and endurance. The two of them being part of the 7th Hokage security. In a face-to-face fight with 10 versus 1, you wouldn't even be considered a challenge. The 7th Hokage walked towards the boat's seaplane. Calm down, C. Calm down. C told himself. I'm a clone. Even if I were to attack, I'd just disappear. I won't die. 5 seconds passed, and B vanished. Even if he no longer had his comrades, he was safe. They hadn't noticed that he was the assassin. He was still hiding. C touched the photon gun hidden in his jacket. It's okay, I can do it. He took a deep breath and waited for the Hokage to step in front of him. A little bit more, just a few more steps. Then across the red carpet's pathway, he noticed a black-haired man standing. He stood out as the tallest man in the perimeter. While everyone's eyes were all on the Hokage, he only gave his attention to the masses of people, rather than those other heroes of the Land of Fire. His handsome features were too famous among other shinobi. Sasuke Uchiha, are you participating in the security to this monster? It's impossible to go with a full frontal attack. In a moment of judgment, C pulled a woman within his arm's reach of him. Don't move! I'll kill this woman! C shouted. He shouted with the gun's barrel to the woman's temple as the crowd screamed and scattered. Sasuke stopped the Hokage in his tracks, stepping in front of him in defense. How convenient the photon gun had power to shoot through 7 men lined up in a row. I'll shoot them both. I'll get bounties on both of them. The man went to lift his arm and point the barrel at Sasuke's chest. Somehow, as he went to move his arm, his fingers moved. His lightly bent middle finger moved, pulling the trigger. A laser emitted from the barrel pressed against her head, shooting through the woman's temple. Bang! Countless crows flew from within the ruptured head. Huh? Ebony flowers fluttered around. C fell to his knees and suddenly became lethargic, unable to stand up. It was a genjutsu. Even as he realized it, he couldn't resist from closing his eyelids. Poof! C vanished with a small pop. End quote. So what I love right here, when you look scene by scene at all of this, the members of Team 7 clearly understand that Naruto is the target right now and that right now, if somebody wanted to assassinate Naruto, they could, depending on who is beside him. Normally, Mirai Sarutobi is one of Naruto's personal Hokage guards, but right now, when you look at it, they're taking no chances when it comes to Naruto, especially when they're on foreign soil. They got Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi. Shikamaru is also right there, and you can believe that with somebody like Shikamaru, there's always a plan in place, which is why I told you guys that a ninja must always learn to see past deception. You want to keep this in the back of your mind as we start going through this novel, because just like with the Sasuke Retsuden novel, where you have the big betrayal that takes place in that novel, there are a few things that are not what they actually seem that take place in this novel. So keep your eyes peeled when it comes to certain character interactions. But I will say, again, if you had to assassinate Naruto, this is not the wrong time to try it. You just literally rolled the dice at the exact wrong time. And I gotta say, my man had big balls in the fact that he was willing to start shooting innocent civilians as a way to take out Naruto. However, when you're dealing with somebody like Sasuke who's protecting Naruto, your best option is really just to turn around and run. And what I will say about Team 7 right here, in particular, Kakashi and Sakura, is the fact that they were able to dispose of the other assailants without drawing any attention. Nobody in the crowd even realized what was going on. And then when it comes to Sasuke, even though there are people there, Sasuke was so quick with the genjutsu that it negated any type of damage that could be done before it actually took place. So my question for you guys is, out of all the members of Team 7 who showed up to protect Naruto in this instance, who are you most impressed by? And what do you think it says about Team 7's bond that so many years, over 2 decades since they first formed as a team, the bond between them is still this strong that Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura are willing to do so much for Naruto? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.